Hey, what's going on everybody? Dinky Dana here, and I'm sure a lot of you are watching this video curious about how you get that third star in Five Nights at Freddy's 3. Today I'm going to show you how you have to play through the minigames and what secrets you have to find in order to get that last star. I'm sure a lot of you have already discovered that there's a marionette minigame if you double click on the poster on the wall in camera 3. You get to play as a little marionette and you go into a kid's birthday party and there are kids with masks on, big cakes, balloons everywhere. But then you get to the third room and there's a lonely, it almost looks like the dead child from Five Nights at Freddy's 2, and he's all by himself with nothing else in the room and an empty table. This room at first looks like nothing, but it's one of the key locations for the events of Five Nights at Freddy's 3. So in this video, I'm just going to go through and show you what you need to do to get the true scene that should take place in this location. The first thing you want to do is you want to start out on night 1, and you want to double click on the BB poster in camera 8. As you play through this minigame, there will be 7 red balloons. What you want to do is you want to collect those 7 balloons, and then you want to jump out a secret hidden wall in the left. As you do, you'll drop down to another level down below, and you can collect the last and final balloon. After you do that, you want to beat night 1 in the minigame at the end of the level. As you're wandering around, if you explore, you'll see a room where on the left it says BB double click, and then over on the right it has these gold panels. And the top left one, the bottom left one, the top right, and then the bottom right one are the gold ones. You need to pay attention to that and go into night 2. And on the arcade machine, there will be a panel of 4 buttons, and you have to press them in that order, and it will take you into the Mangle minigame. Normally in the Mangle minigame, all you have to do is collect the pieces to put yourself back together, and then you have to avoid the person that's trying to rip you apart. But there's also a secret in this minigame. It seems there's a secret in every single one of the minigames. What you have to do in this one is you get all of the pieces to put yourself back together, and then there's a hidden wall up on the top right, and you have to jump through that wall, and you drop down to a level down below. And since you collected all of the balloons in Balloon Boy's level, now there are red platforms that you can follow, and as you jump up these platforms, when you make it to the end of it, there's a big cake to collect. Now this cake, when I first got it, obviously reminded me of the marionette minigame, the same cake that's on the table for all the other kids at the party. So I stopped back at the marionette minigame, and I tried to see if anything was unlocked, which unfortunately it wasn't. But if you pay attention to the code that was at the end of the minigame in the end of first night, it said BB double click. So what you want to do is you have to go back to BB's minigame. You still drop out, you collect all of the balloons, then you drop out the hidden door to the left. And there are actually platforms in there as well that you can use to jump across. And there's actually a dead child in that minigame as well. And when you go and approach him, you actually give him cake. Once you've given the child the cake, if you return to the marionette minigame in camera 3, when you make it back to the room with the lonely child, there's now another kid there and he has an animatronic mask on. The next step is to continue on and complete night 2. When you beat the night, you'll get into another minigame where you get to wander around and explore as Bonnie. And in the same room that you got the double click BB hint and the arcade code, you'll actually see 4 black cupcakes over on the left. What this is it's a clue that in night 3, you have to go through and you have to click 4 cupcakes. You'll see eyes looking at you. They're somewhat difficult to see, but they're in camera 6, 2, 3, and 4. And when you click all of these cupcakes, you get to go into a little Chica minigame. I'm sure most of you have probably already seen this Chica minigame before, but the thing is, when you do these minigames and get all of the secrets in a particular order, as you go through the Chica minigame, you grab all the cupcakes, you feed the kids, they get happy, but don't go into the normal exit. There's also a hidden room in this minigame, and what you have to do is you go through that hidden room, and if you do the minigames out of order, you will continue to drop down to a bottom level and there's just a normal exit where it looks like dead cupcakes are moving around. what you do, since we've completed them in order, you'll drop down and there will be red platforms since you completed the Balloon Boy, and you will be able to reach the dead child over on the left and be able to give him cake. Since there were actually 2 hints, the BB double click and the arcade code, what you want to do is after you finish up the mango, I don't think it matters the particular order, but once you finish up, you double click on the BB poster again, and since you got the last balloon, there will be red platforms similar to like the mango minigame, where you can actually fall down as BB and you'll be caught by these platforms, and then you jump over to the right and there's also a dead child in BB's minigame that you can save. Next, you'll want to complete Night 2, and in the end minigame where you play as Chico wandering around the restaurant, you will see in the same room that had the other codes, there will be numbers on the left, and they say 395248. You need to pay attention to these numbers, because in the next night, you're going to need to use them. Once you start Night 4, you have to remember those numbers, 395248, and you have to pretend and imagine how you would dial those numbers on a cell phone, let's say, and on the wall right next to the trash can in your office, you have to press the blocks on the wall corresponding to where those numbers would be on a cell phone. So you press the top right, bottom right, the middle, and then the top, left, and bottom, and that will take you into the next minigame. Now, I'm not exactly sure whose minigame this is. It could be Golden Freddy, but I actually think that it might be the original Fredbear. It looks very different than what I would expect to see as a Golden Freddy, and it's sitting there with just Golden Fredbear and the new animatronic. So I'm not really sure exactly what this one is supposed to be, but it's certainly the most difficult and cryptic minigame to actually figure out how to get the secret ending to. At first, most people will realize that you have to glitch yourself through the one wall by the children, and then what you'll do is you'll fall down and there will be a bunch of duplicate rooms, and then eventually you'll fall down to the farthest in the bottom right, and you'll exit through a normal door. This one took me a little while to figure out, and I was very surprised that this is what you had to do, but I had to manage to it was almost like glitching my way up to the top right. You want to imagine this as a 3x3 block of rooms, and they're all the same, and down in the bottom right is the regular exit, and if you can glitch yourself and jump up the walls into the top right, there will actually be a hidden room, which was awesome to find, and there's a dead child in there, and you also give that kid some cake, and he returns to the marionette minigame. So after you complete that, you want to go and finish Night 4. You'll see in the minigame, in the same room with the other hints, this time there will be a Shadow Bonnie on the right wall. What this means is once you go into Night 5, on your desk there will be a Shadow Bonnie statue. You double click that statue and it will take you into the Shadow Bonnie minigame. This is one of the weirder minigames. As you play, you're this glitched out Shadow Bonnie and you're moving around the level all weird. And what you can actually do is you can glitch yourself outside of the main square that you're supposed to be in for the screens. And what this does is it allows you to keep pressing down, and it'll cycle you through different scenes. And if you keep doing that and you get outside of the stage, you'll see a dead child down in the bottom left, and you just need to get to this child, and it will save that kid and send it also back to the marionette minigame. Now, once you have completed all these minigames and gotten all of the secret endings, if you return to the marionette minigame, when you go into the room with the lonely crying child, there will actually be 4 people there with masks, animatronic masks on, matching with the normal animatronics. And when you walk up to the table, you get to put a cake there, and you get almost like an ending scene. It's a very cool scene where the balloons float away and the child's bodies disappear, and it's almost like their souls are being released. I don't know if this is supposed to be freeing the children as one of the latest events that takes place in the game when they're saved, or what, but it's a very cool scene, and it's the key to getting the 3rd star in Five Nights at Freddy's 3. When you exit back out to the menu, you will now have 3 stars, and you'll be able to go through and beat Night 5, and once you do, you will actually get the good ending. And there you have it. That's pretty much how you complete Five Nights at Freddy's 3. You'll get the 3 stars, and you'll also have everything unlocked in the extras menu. You get to play through all of the mini games if you'd like, and you can see all the jump scares, all that good stuff. It was a blast going through with everybody in my live stream, finding all these little Easter eggs, secrets in the mini games, the secret endings, and it's just a blast. So if you want to check out more Five Nights at Freddy's 3 streams, come on over to twitch.tv/DinkyDana and join the community. Stop in, say hi and chat, and hopefully find some more Easter eggs in Five Nights at Freddy's 3.